So yeah, I told y'all I will come back and let you know what happened in the courtroom earlier today. They gave opening statements, both sides, and after the opening statements, they went to lunch and then they came back and two people testified in court today. One being a security guard who was at the hotel at the time of that taping that we all seen that went viral everywhere with Diddy beating on Cassie. He was the security guard that responded to that incident inside the hotel. So he testified today, and also an ex worker, if you know what I mean. Put a letter in front of it, okay? So I am going to read the testimony from both of these witnesses, and they started with the security guard first. It's a lot. It's lengthy. I'm hoping that it don't take me too long, but I want to be able to give you guys all of it. In case you just want to lay back and listen to everything that happened in court today, because we all know it's not being televised. And as far as today, Mark Agnifilio, which is the lead attorney for Diddy, did not do any questioning in court today. He responded to a few things, but he didn't do any questioning. So I am going to read through this. Again, as I always tell you, this is a transcript from someone who is inside the courtroom that is typing as people are talking. So there will be grammar mistakes, and I'm only reading it as he wrote it or he typed it. So I'm going to try to get past any mistakes, because I'm sure he probably was tired. He was in there all day doing what he do. Okay. Also, any vulgar words or anything like that, I am going to try to skip over them or replace them, and y'all get my drift, okay? So I'm going to get started. When they came back from recess, it says it's AUSA, which is the government or the prosecution. When the judge called on them to call the first witness, they said, first we enter 4 exhibits. Agnifilio, which is Diddy attorney, said no objection. The prosecution said, we call LAPD officer Israel Flores. Then he's sworn in. Flores states, I'm also a reservationist for the Army. I was a guard with Securitas in 2016 in an intercontinental hotel near Century City. The prosecutor said, what happened on March 5th, 2016? Flores said, I was told of the 6th floor. So another thing you're going to notice in this transcript, and I'm not sure why it's like this, he's probably not typing fast enough, or he's missing some of the sentences. It's going to kind of sound like it's all over the place, or something is missing, because as you can see, what Flores responded to, or his response, didn't make sense with what the prosecution asked him. So I'm guessing that the person who is typing this, he's missing some of the questions or statements that's being made. So we just got to piece this together. Okay, let me keep going. Flores said, there, I recognize Sean Combs. He was there wearing a gray sweater. The prosecution said, what was your title? Flores said, Assistant Director of Security. The prosecution said, let me show you a photo of the Intercontinental Hotel. Flores said, it's shaped like a pyramid. Then the judge said, admit it. The prosecution said, what kind of incidents did you respond to? Flores said, all kinds. We had a couple of, I can't say the word, but people taking their life in their own hands. He said, we had a couple of them there. We'd prepare incident reports, the 5 W's. The prosecution said, would you attach photos to the reports? Flores said, yes, but not video. We did not have the password. The prosecution said, I'm just going to say USA so I can say it faster. USA said, when did this incident take place? Flores said, 11 a.m. I got report of a woman in distress on the 6th floor. I closed the security base and checked the cameras. There was an African-American man pacing back and forth. I didn't see a female. I rushed there. USA said, what did you see on the 6th floor? Flores said, Mr. Combs in a towel and some light colored socks, or I guess it's supposed to say light colored socks. He's a rapper, producer, and Cassie on the floor. USA says, let me show you photos. And then they show a photo of Combs in a tuxedo, and in a separate photo, Cassie Ventura smiling. USA said, "What did you tell them?" Flores said that is they. The grammar is messed up, but I guess he said they were arguing. They'd have to take it back to their room, and they had broken a vase, which they would be charged for. Cassie said she wanted her phone and her bag. Flores also says Miss Cassie said she wanted to leave. Mr. Combs said, "You're not leaving. I saw inside the room a black male wearing dark clothing." And USA said, "What did Mr. Combs do after Cassie left?" Flores said, "He called for me. He was holding a stack of money, not to tell anyone." USA said, "What did you say?" I said, "I don't want your money. The damage is going to be charged to your room." USA said, "Where did Cassie go?" Flores said, "After I spoke with her, she left a car pulled up. She left in a black SUV." USA said, "Was there a driver?" Flores said 7 feet. So I guess he was referring to the driver was 7 foot tall or 7 feet tall. And you guys, they kept talking about the fact that Diddy paid off the security, but as you can hear, the security is saying that he did not take the money. Okay? So that's something to note. He did not accept the money. And it's being said that he offered, I talked about that earlier. In the opening statements, they mentioned this, and they said that Diddy offered him $100,000 in cash, and he did not accept the money. Okay, let me keep going. Flores said, he said she wants to leave. I said, I'm talking to her, not you. They left. USA said, then what? Flores said, we went up to Mr. Combs' room to remind him of hotel rules. He opens the door and grabs the phone and says, are you recording me? I pinned him to the wall. He said, I took photos of the broken vase to tell them to come clean it up. I went to write the incident report. USA said, is this it? And Flores said, my report with my name on it. And defense said, same objection. Judge said, noted. USA said, did you review the video? Flores said, yes. USA said, I'm handing you a thumb drive with videos. And they said that the video was shown, so they showed the video in court. Of course, we don't know what that's about because we can't see it. And the USA said, did it have audio? Flores said, no. USA said, let's walk through it. Who is this? Flores said, Cassie. USA said, and this? Flores said, Mr. Combs. USA said, what's happening here? Flores said she picked up the wall phone. So I guess she was in the hallway after the incident and was trying to pick up the phone that be on the wall in the hotel. Y'all know how that go. So he described what he's seeing on the video in the courtroom. USA said, what did you find when you got there? Flores said, the broken vase. USA said, what is at the end of the video? Flores said, me coming out of the elevator. USA said, let's pull up the incident report again. Flores said, here. We reminded him that the checkout time was approaching. USA said, what did you add to the incident report after you reviewed the video? Flores said, I described what I saw in the video. USA said, what else did you do with the video? Flores said, I recorded 2 videos of it with my iPhone to show my wife at home. Flores video. Including how shiny his shoes were. Okay. And then USA said, did you work the next day? Flores said, no, I had the next 2 days off. USA said, when you came back in, did you look for the video? Flores said, I did, but it was gone. USA said, did you ever see it again? Flores said, yes, recently. USA said, nothing further. Judge Subramanian said cross-examination. And Combs, Brian Steele, which is Diddy's lawyer, one of his lawyers, said got up and said, you said your report was 5 W's, right? Flores said, yes. Steele says, you mentioned that when you get off the elevator at 11:15 or 11:14, you described Mr. Combs as having a devilish expression on his face. Flores said, that's my opinion. Steele said, when you get off the elevator, what's in your hand? Flores said, my radio. Still said, Mr. Combs did not attack you, did he? Flores said no. Still said, and was there any law enforcement involved? Flores said no. Still said, you videoed for your wife and kept it, right? Flores said, I did. Still said, but never was law enforcement called? Flores said they were not. Still said, you told the jury Mr. Combs said to Cassie, you're not leaving, but your report did not say that, right? Flores said, at that point, I did not believe it was a significant fact. I'm not going to put down the back and forth. Still said, so it wasn't important 9 years ago, but only now? The USA said, objection. Judge said, overruled. And Flores said, I did not put in the report at the time. Still said, you said you were offered a bribe, but hadn't you told him he had to pay for the vase? Flores said, yes. Of course he got to pay for the vase. The bribe has nothing to do with the vase. That's hotel property. What are they talking about? But anyway, let me keep going. Still said, the gentleman you say you saw in the room, you described to the jury things not in your report. Flores said he did not engage. Still said, why didn't you ask him his name? Flores said he wasn't talking to no one. Still said, did you tell anyone at the time? Flores said no. Still said, and the 7-foot driver, do you know who it was? Flores said, I don't know, but Cassie knew him. Still said, you didn't put in your report that you offered to call law enforcement, but she refused. Why not? Flores said, she said no, so there was no reason to include it. That's weird. I'm going to get to that. Still said, you said you put Mr. Combs against the wall. That's aggressive, isn't it? Flores said, it could be, but I only put my forearm against his chest. Still said, but you didn't put that in your report. Flores said, you're asking me to have put more detail in my report. Still said, do you remember the layout? Flores said, no, just a corner room. Still said, was it a normal hotel room like I would stay in, just one room, or did it have a living room? Flores said, I don't know. Still said, the third party, you said he was on a bed. Flores said, it was a pullout. Still said, you were in the hospitality business as well as security, right? Flores said, yes. Still said, Mr. Combs, it was clear to you that he wanted to pay for the damage, right? USA said, objection, cause for speculation. The judge said, ask in a different way. And Still said, it can be embarrassing for a guest. And USA said, objection. Judge said, sustain. Still said, one moment, nothing further. And judge said, redirect. USA said, did you typically include every single detail in the report? Flores said no. USA said, did he seem drunk or high? Flores said no. USA said, when he offered you money, what did he say? Flores said that he didn't want anyone to know about it, pretty much. USA said, which way was Mr. Combs dragging Cassie? Flores said, back to the room. USA said nothing further. Judge said, recross, asking them, do they want to recross? And so Still said, there are motion sensitive cameras, so there are gaps, right? Flores said, yes. Still said, nothing further. Judge said, next witness. Okay, so one of the things that I want to address, and it's crazy to me, even though this security did not accept money, if you're not going to accept the money because you are trying to do the right thing, why didn't you report this incident? How could you, as security, which is someone who has a job to protect? And at the beginning of this, they also said that he was an officer. So he probably doing security. He was probably doing security at the time, but he was also some type of law enforcement officer. So how is it that you didn't report this incident when it's your job to protect people? Should not have been left up to Cassie to call the police. When you see something like this happening, this is your job. And I don't know why people taking it more serious. I actually heard people praising this security guard, but I don't really have praise for him, because why did you not take it in your own hands to call the police? Instead, what you did was recorded the incident on your phone and took it home to show your wife. So you wanted to go show people at home and probably friends and whoever else, like, look what Diddy did at my hotel where I work at. You know what I'm saying? But you didn't call the police. And you held this video on your phone for all this time and then brought it out now. What was your point of holding those videos? If you wasn't going to tell the police, what was your point of holding the videos? That's literally the question that I have. And I'm not sure why nobody else is asking that question. But in the same token, how is it that someone who has a job to protect the public not report this? I'm sure after your wife seen this, she had to be disgusted. If you wasn't, neither one of you was disgusted. She didn't say, man, look, you need to go to tell them. You need to call the police. You need to do something about this. That's a problem for me. I don't know how it's not a problem for everybody else that's reporting the same thing. But that's an issue. That's crazy. But I know it's kind of too late for that now. I just had to call that out. I just had to call that out. It's just extremely strange. Yes, it's true. He did not accept the money according to him. Okay? He didn't accept the money. But what did you do to help Cassie? How could you watch a woman get stumped out like that and do nothing? That's not honorable as a man. I don't respect that. It's not about the money. Forget the money. Put that all the way to the side. Let's not even talk about the money. Why didn't you do anything? You should have called the authorities. It should not have been left up to her. So that means you will see something and not say anything. So how are you protecting people in that hotel? I hate to see if it's a situation where there is a kidnapping in the hotel or something like that, or you see some suspicious activity and guests up in there, you know what I'm saying, and they doing some illegal stuff up in there and you're not reporting it. Because if you didn't say anything about that, no telling what else you didn't say anything about over the years. You already said that there was incidents of people taking their life in their own hands inside that whole hotel before. Maybe it was things that you could have seen or probably seen as a security guard that could, that was a red flag that something was funny with a guest, but you did nothing. So that's the reason why I am making it a big deal, because this is only one incident. A lot of stuff happened at hotels and stuff like that. So to act like it's okay that a security did nothing in a situation like this, what else is he looking past when he's supposed to be doing his job? That's all I'm saying. But anyway, let me move on because I still got a ways to go. And I don't want the video to be too long. Okay, so, judge said next witness. USA said, what did Miss Ventura pay you for? Okay, so now, again, like I told you, some parts is skipped over. So now they are questioning an ex-worker. Starts with the letter S. So put it together, okay? But they're questioning him, and so he's giving his testimony now. And where I'm at. Okay, what did Miss Ventura pay you for? And the witness said to have X with her. Sean Combs was there too. The witness also said, my boss called me and said he couldn't find any of our black dancers, so could I go to a bachelorette party in the Gramercy Park Hotel in downtown Manhattan? And the USA said, what did you expect to do? The witness said, a little stripper dance. The dancer also said she was in a hotel room in a red wig, stockings, and sunglasses. She gave me a few $100s. USA said, what was the room like? The dancer said, red couches, Astroglide, and lubricant. There was a man on the right side of the room. The man had on a white robe and a bandana over his face, below his eyes, and baseball cap. From his voice, I recognized him as Sean Combs. USA said, what did he say? The dancer said that he was into importing and exporting. What that supposed to mean, y'all? What do that mean? It's not funny, but I'm just saying, like, what do it mean? Oh, my God. Like, yeah, I'm thinking about a lot of things. What do it mean? Man. Okay, so the dancer said he was having problems with my boss. The defense said, objection. USA said, I'll get back to that. And then he said, after the X was over, what happened? And the male dancer said, Cassie gave me a couple of $1,000 more. The male dancer also said, he said to give them my phone number. I did. Cassie called me and asked me for a photo. A photo? And then USA said, then what? The dancer said, she called me to go she called me to go back. I did for a few hours and then a few times after that. USA said, Combs always present? And the dancer said, yes. USA said, any other locations? The male dancer said, X's house, his residence on 56th Street, I believe 210 at the time, and at her residence on West End Avenue, I think number 10. USA said, what name were you to say you were there to see? And the dancer said, Black. So he named himself Black? Like what? Anyway, the dancer said, I would send her vulgar text messages. USA said, like what? The male dancer said, you want me to say it? The USA said, give me an example. The dancer said, I text her, I want to F you right now. USA said, how often did you use baby oil? The dancer said, every time. The dancer also said, Sean Combs said we didn't have enough baby oil on. He say, y'all slow down, separate from each other. One time he tried to have us role play like we had just met at an airport. We weren't good, so we skipped that. USA said, what direction did Mr. Combs give you? The dancer said, he'll tell me to step off and back off. USA said, how many times, if any, were you told to urinate on Miss Ventura? The defense said, objection and suggestive. And the judge said, overruled. The dancer said, they told me not to do it all at once. What? So hold on. Let me read that again. The dancer said they told me not to do it all at once. First of all, look, I ain't even finna go there. Let me just keep reading. Let me keep reading. Because I'm sure we're gonna hear a lot of disgusting and look, y'all, this is gonna be a long trial, okay? Let me keep going. The defense said objection to him saying they, and the judge said, I got it. Cut him off and said, I got it. USA said, what happened afterwards? The dancer said, they leave me waiting for hours. The whole thing might go on for 10 hours. What? Look, y'all, 10 hours? That's ridiculous, okay? So, look, Diddy, look. Let me keep going. I'm trying to keep going and not stop, but the stuff I'm hearing is insane. The dancer said they were headed to the X's hotel. They said to go in 30 minutes. It was the first time he opened the door himself, dressed in a suit, no mask. USA said, how did things change? The dancer said he didn't feel, and Combs, the defense said, objection. USA said, who, if anyone, recorded? The dancer said, Mr. Combs with a cell phone and camcorder. He took a photo of my driver's license for insurance. He said, and the defense said, objection. The judge said, focus it. USA said, what did you understand? And the dancer said, he was threatening me. The dancer also said, once I went and Cassie was slumped over, he said, it's not going to happen this time. USA said, did Mr. Combs offer you rugs? The dancer said, Hammer said, y'all know the rug that rhymes with Polly? Yeah. He said that, and he said, I guess that's what it's called. I don't do rugs. He said, I think I went out and handed it out. Hold on. I went out and handed out $100 bills. What? He said he went out and handed out $100 bills. What that got to do with what they asked you? Honey, I don't know. Let me keep going. USA said, how did the rug make you feel? The dancer said, sick and euphoric and like an idiot, handing out $100 bills. Oh, that's why he did it. The USA said, who else was present? The dancer said, a guy who told me he was an actual escort. He was having sex with Cassie at her apartment. He said the guy was like looking at Sean Combs, and Combs said, don't you be effing looking at me. And the defense said, objection. Judge said, let's get a fresh question. USA said, what did he look like? The dancer said, black guy, kind of skinny. We exchanged phone numbers. USA said, have you seen him In 10 years, the dancer said no. USA said, did it ever seem you were not the first person there? And he said yes. Have used Astroglad towels on the floor. So I'm guessing he said when, yes, because when he get there, it'll be half used items, y'all. And towels on the floor already. That's what I'm guessing that means. USA said, after the $100 bills, did you see them again? The dancer said, I couldn't do it anymore. USA said, what did you get paid when you couldn't perform? The dancer said nothing, but I never asked for money. I was happy to get involved with people with such notoriety, but after I saw Sean Combs hit Cassie, I couldn't do it anymore. USA said, what was Mr. Combs saying as he meet Cassie? The dancer said, he said, B, when I tell you to come over, you come over. I didn't know what to do. USA said, did you intervene? The dancer said, no, I knew that the changes there were bodyguards. And of course, I'm trying to grasp what is going on here, yeah. But the defense said objection, and the judge said sustain. And the USA said, what next? The dancer said, he said, are y'all ready to continue? USA said, did you try? The dancer said, I don't recall. USA said, did you see them again? The dancer said, I thought I had developed some sort of friendship with Cassie. I may have been speculating. The dancer said, I went there. I heard him slapping her. He walked out in a towel. She ran to me. Woo. I asked, why are you staying with this guy? The defense said objection. Judge said ground. The defense said hearsay. Judge said overruled. The dancer said she said it was okay. Whoa. And the USA said nothing further. Judge said break before cross. So I guess they went into a little sidebar for a second. Let me see what else is going on. Yeah, I'm trying to keep up with this transcript because I'm trying to make sure it's titled correctly so I can know who said what. But I'm moving right along. Okay, the judge came back. Okay, the judge came back and said, Mr. Phillip, you are still under oath. The defense said, let me show you a text message chain between you and Cassie. Is it accurate? Daniel Phillip said yes. So I'm guessing that this is another. No, this is the same person. And they named him because they was just calling him male dancer. So his name is Mr. Phillip. Xavier Donaldson. Hold on. No, that's the lawyer. Mr. Phillip. His name is, I'm trying to see if they show his full name. Yeah. Yeah, Daniel Phillip is his name. Okay, let me show you a text message. I already said that. And he said, is it accurate? And Mr. Phillip said yes. Donaldson, which is the defense attorney, said you were working for a service. Mr. Phillips said a male review show. He also said, the defense said you were a manager, male strippers for women. Mr. Phillip, which is the dancer, said yes. He was a proxy. And he said proxy was prohibited. And Mr. Phillips said that is correct. The defense said your job was to build it up. Mr. Phillips said yes and no. The defense said, I'll go with yes. And, of course, the USA said objection. Judge said sustain. The defense said, did the company open fake businesses to optimize search results? Mr. Phillips said fake addresses. It was just SEO. The defense said you went to optimize the lady's experience. Mr. Phillips said, I have no idea what you mean. It's just our slogan. The defense said Cassie told you to say the name Black, and the dancer said yes. The defense said your boss told you someone wanted a black man stripper. The dancer said yes. The defense said, let me show you. USA said this shouldn't be put on screen. Take it off. Take it off. So obviously something was put on screen that shouldn't have been shown. And because the way it's worded, the way it's like them saying take it off, they was trying to get it off the screen quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I'm not sure what they put up on the screen. Let me see. A lot going on. This transcript is kind of, y'all, bear with me, okay? Because some of the stuff is not even labeled of who said what. So that's why I have pauses in between so I can make sure I'm getting it right, okay? Along with the grammar mistakes, but we getting there. Okay, yeah, they not saying what was on the screen. It's not showing what was on the screen, but whatever it was, USA, they wanted it off. They wanted it off. Okay, let me keep going. So the defense said she was wearing a wig. The dancer said yes. The defense said she handed you money. The dancer said she handed me 4,000. And then they said before any oil rubbing, and then he said yes. And then the defense said she had on heels, and the dancer said yes, and dark green glasses or dark glasses. And the defense said where the money come from, and the dancer said her hand. The defense said you were wearing a New York City Police Department uniform, right? And the dancer said I bought a New York or NYPD T-shirt. The defense said you took the oil off in front of Cassie. The dancer said the oil, no, I took my clothes off. She said it's my birthday. The defense said it appears she is enjoying herself. The dancer says yes. The defense said, what's your position? And the dancer said, missionary, I like it. Did that just happen? What? And the defense said, she asked you for a photo. The dancer said, I do not know if Sean Combs asked for it. The judge said, ignore that. And that was the end of that. And the judge said, we'll pick back up here tomorrow. So y'all, I just wanted to give y'all a brief, well, no, it wasn't brief, okay? But I wanted y'all to hear everything that happened in court. With the transcript, is the way he's typing, like I always tell y'all, and this is what's going to be happening because we don't have insight inside the courtroom, so we can only go off the ones who is gracious enough to go sit there all day and type out what's going on in there. And that's what I'm dealing with, and every other channel is dealing with right now. But we got to piece together the transcript. Like I say, some stuff be missing or it's not labeled who said what, so we got to make the best of it. But as you can see, a lot of stuff went down in court today, and they just getting started. So yeah, they interviewed or they questioned two people: the security guard that was there at the hotel and one of the ex-workers. His name is what did I tell you? His name is Xavier Phillip, Daniel Phillip is his name, okay? And he is an ex-worker. So, yeah, tell me what y'all think about this. It's been a long day. I don't want to give too much of my own insight and input. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments, because, baby, I just read this whole transcript, and that was pretty tough considering the way it's labeled. If y'all will see it, y'all will know what I'm talking about to have to read this to people. But I want y'all to get the full insight of what's going on in the courtroom, so I'm going to leave it as this. Tell me what y'all think about this first day of the Diddy trial and everything that happened today. Again, I told y'all earlier I might do a video later to talk about what happened during the jury selection this morning, because the defense thought they were slick and was trying to be slick and out slick the prosecution, but they got caught up with trying to do that, and they tried to make it seem like the prosecution was being discriminatory towards some of the jurors, which was not true, because the prosecution gave reasons for every one of the black people that they excluded or wanted out, that they striked this morning, okay? And it was good reasons in my opinion. My thing is, I feel like the defense team just wanted a whole lot of black males on the jury. That's what it was. They wanted people they felt was going to give Diddy some mercy, okay? That's what I think. Yeah, because the prosecution had good reasons for getting those people out that they did. You know, now if they didn't have no reasons, I probably could say, okay, they was being funny, but they gave reasons, very good reasons for why they got those people out of there, okay? Anywho, tell me what y'all think in the comments. And I'm about to go take a break because it's been a long day. And I'll see y'all later. Bye.